Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids, and today we're looking at this, which is the Steel Will Apostate Folding Knife. What I'm going to do first is just roll in some videos so you can see what it looks like up close and personal. Then we'll talk through the specs, and then we'll show you what it looks like in use. All right, let me give you some specs on the knife. Your blade steel is S35VN. Your total length when it's open from end to end is 9.61 inches. 4.13 for your blade and 5.48 for the handle. 0.16 inches thick. And it's definitely a tactical folder, but because it is relatively lightweight when it's all folded up, you can definitely EDC this knife as well. So your frame is going to be titanium, and that green handle portion you see is G10. So yeah, let's talk application here. EDC, it's definitely a bigger EDC knife, coming in at about 5.5 inches when it's resting there in your pocket. You can swap the clip around, so it's either right hand or left-handed carry, but it's going to be tip up either way. It is definitely, if you want a very small, slim EDC, Steel Will is definitely going to offer you better options because this one's just big and hefty. The nice thing about this though is that, like I talked about in my EDC series when I was looking at large and oversized blades, when you get a tiny little knife, you can do some box opening and some precision cutting, but when you get those larger blades, you just have more options. So certainly this, because it is a tactically inclined folder, it's going to give you self-defense options. It's definitely going to be, doing fine when it comes to cutting boxes and things like that. The other thing I'll say is that, if you have a good folding knife, even if you're out in the outdoors, most people want a fixed blade, but with a solid folding knife, you can do a lot of the things that you can do with the fixed blade if you had to. Or maybe you just forgot your fixed blade at home when you went out camping and you had this in your pocket. Well, now you've got a good solid performer. I did want to show you real quick just what the jimping looks like. So you have some up here toward your blade, you have some back there, and then on the underside a little bit here. All of it, it's just really appropriate for what I would say this knife is. It doesn't feel like it's super aggressive and going to tear your hand up, but it's also not like pointless. This reminds me of the jimping on the Benchmade Griptilian, because it is, I feel like it's the right amount of jimping. It's not going to beat your hand up, but it is going to give you some more control of the knife and everywhere your hand is falling. So thumb, finger, and then basically the palm of your hand, that all falls in the right location as far as what that jimping looks like. Let's start off with some basic tasks. This is generally not an EDC task that you have to cut paper, but let's just show you what it actually looks like in doing that. I mean, this thing comes really nice and sharp. It is definitely a larger blade, so it's not like operating with the razor blade, but it's definitely gonna cut well. So let's get this out of the way. Again, that's not really an EDC task that you're gonna have to be cutting slices of paper that often, but here's the box it actually came in, and just to show you real quick as far as its ability to pierce, just because of that nice, strong but aggressive tanto point. Yeah, I mean, has no problem whatsoever. This is now basically 2-ply because you have the flap and then you have the actual box, but still no problem whatsoever. We'll open this up and just show you what it looks like cutting some cardboard. I mean, this thing just slices and dices. That S35VN, great steel. It's definitely a higher grade steel than a lot of the other steels out there. Just to show you this knife doing some slicing, I basically dug through some of my recycling and got some stuff I could cut. So that's going to do just great. And now I have it down like this. Here, let me turn it sideways so we can get more cuts. But you can see. So I'm going to go with basically the long edge and then the short edge as well. That's going to cut very effectively, very effectively. And then you want to be a little bit more careful with the that short edge, just because you don't want to bend or bust the tip. But here it is with the short edge. Gotta push down a little bit harder with that, just by the ergonomics of it. But I mean, that it's slicing up. A little bit easier to do, like I said, with that longer edge, because you can push down harder. But like this, I'll show you. So anyhow, so a piece of cake with that. Again, EDC type tasks, this thing is going to certainly excel. You're not going to have any issues whatsoever. I went and grabbed this is kind of a thick soap container, but just to show you stabbing in here. And then if you wanted to, you had to do some sort of task out in the shop or something, no problem for this guy whatsoever. There's that. I have a, it's just like a seltzer water bottle. That's that. Again, I mean, that Stihl S35VN, I like that a lot. I've had that on a couple other knives and it's worked quite well. So basically EDC tasks, this thing is going to do great. We'll do a little stabbing now here into this old pressure treated piece of wood. This is from like an old picnic bench that was basically abandoned in the woods behind my house a while ago, but just to show you again the strength of the tip. It is definitely not built to be a prying knife, but just to show you that, you know, some other knives you do this and the tip will be breaking off or bending, but not the case with this knife. So there's that, and the tip still looks good. Let me show you a close-up. Just a reference to what I was talking about before. Let's say you headed out into the woods, you know, for an overnight or for a weekender, and you forgot your fixed blade, and this is all you had. This is still do the job as far as you know, some of those finer tasks, some carving, things like that. You know, certainly if you're doing some family camping out of the car and setting up your tent right next to the station wagon or the minivan, whatever, you can cut open packages and all that stuff with this guy. But if you were a little bit more into the back country, just to show you that this guy will get the job done. This is like, feels like semi-petrified wood, but you can see getting some of that fine work done. Am I gonna baton with this? You probably could do some light batoning. I would definitely not be recommending it, but if you had to, in a life or death situation, yeah, I mean, again, that's just ridiculous that you would want to baton with this, but you could if it was totally necessary, I guess I would say. So just to show you there that this could do some of that finer work, you know, those little curls. If I broke this off and got a little bit more of a right angle, I could definitely get some better feathers off this. So as you can probably tell, I do like this knife quite a bit, especially for what it is. If you're looking for a very small EDC knife, this is not it. This is a larger tactical folding knife, and you can certainly EDC it if you don't mind having a larger knife like that. If you're going out, you know, in a business suit to a business gathering and you have, you know, basically on an outfit that doesn't permit this, then this is not gonna be a good knife for you. But for me, I would definitely EDC this. It fits into kind of my general lifestyle and also into like the outfits, the clothes that I'm wearing on a regular basis. Is there anything I don't really like about this knife? Well, there are two things I'll at least note. One is that some people love the Tanto, some people don't like the Tanto. So that being said, if you're not somebody who's into, you know, a knife that's got a Tanto blade on it, this is not gonna be the one for you. I don't mind it, and it seems to work well in a variety of different ways for me. The one downside I would say is the deployment. You can see we've got the flipper here. We also have a thumb stud, right? So the flipper, especially because of the weight of the knife, works great. Every single time, no issues. Lockup is really good with the frame lock. The thumb stud, I just think it's placed too close to the handle there. So if they moved it out, and I wouldn't even say like, oh, it's 1/8 of an inch. It's like probably a little bit less than a 1/16 of an inch. That would help a lot. But when I'm trying to deploy it using the thumb stud, it's just a lot, it takes a lot more concentration to get it moving. The flipper's, again, great, but if they adjusted that a little bit, I think it would be even better. I know they probably did it to keep it streamlined, but for me, it's just, and I've deployed a lot of knives. It's like I've never used a knife before. So the flipper's great. The thumb stud, if they could move that out just a little bit, I think it would be even better. But this is my first steel wheel knife, and I'm hoping to work with them more and more because I've liked this one quite a bit. They make a variety of fixed blades and folders and different things. So I'm gonna try to mix and match, you know, try some of the fixed blades, try some of the folders, but Steel Wheel Apostate 1113 is the number. S35VN steel, it's gonna run you around $150. Very impressive knife to me. And I look forward to checking out more knives from Steel Wheel. Thanks for checking out this video. More videos coming soon, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids. Click that little red subscribe button so you can know what's happening. One final thing I want to tell you is that we will be looking at steel wheel knives at Blade Show 2016 in Atlanta, so stay tuned for coverage of that really fun and exciting show. All right, take care.